God.
All right, as we continue Hannity on the ground in Texas tonight, we continue with the former President Donald Trump. What a great crowd. We don't have a lot of time, but let's talk about your future plans. Now, I have a funny... Let me ask the crowd of everybody here, would you like to see the president run again in 2024? You're not going to answer, but I have to ask. Where are you in the process of, or have, let me ask
Remember, chat, when you get sad about how many claps and how delusional this crowd is, remember that they all, every single person in this room, voted for Ted Cruz. Okay? Texan conservatives are a whole different kind of loser. It's just like, it's not something you can compare to the average person. They are gigantic losers. They're pathetic. They're cucks. They don't even like the aesthetics of like a macho man who's like a real American, you know? Born and bred, baby.
Did you this without giving the answer what the answer?
They voted for a guy who ran away from rolling blackouts, go to Cancun, and when he was caught in 4K, turned around and blamed his like 6-year-old daughter. Nothing says Texan conservative and a firm belief in American values like bravery and patriotism, like voting for a guy who did that.
Have you made up your mind?
3.
Yes.
I think you got it right. Yeah. When you look, you know, it's funny because I've known you 25 years. And I remember when you first...
Please stop calling my family losers. I mean, if they're Texas conservatives, they're fucking losers, brother. I'm sorry to tell you that, but they are. They literally are losers. If they voted for Ted Cruz, you're a fucking loser. If you voted for Ted Cruz, you are a loser. I'm sorry. There is no way to manage that, okay?
First talking about running, and we actually argued. Remember we'd argue about certain things in Iraq and certain wars and everything? And then you became president. And I remember when I supported you, I said he will govern as a conservative, and people didn't understand. You really governed as conservative as any president in the modern day. That is your core belief.
And actually, Sean, you have known me for a long time, and my views have never really changed. I mean, if you look at my views haven't changed. I felt this way about these crazy, endless wars where we're losing so many wonderful, young, beautiful people, and we're not fighting. We're just sort of there, and we don't do it. You know, we knocked out ISIS. You saw what I did during a short period of time.
Sure.
Over a period of a year and a half.
Wiped out the caliphate.
ISIS wiped out the caliphate. It was getting worse and worse. But we got to bring our people back home. It's time. 21 years in Afghanistan. Yeah. 21 years. And so we rebuilt our military. It was totally depleted. It was terrible. We had jets that...
It's depleted again. It's depleted again, folks. Totally depleted again as soon as Biden was in office. He said we're spending all the funds on teaching them critical race theory.
We're 40 years old, jet fighters that were 40 years old that they didn't make parts for anymore. You had to go to the desert to get the parts, where they have what they call the airplane graveyards. And we have now all brand new planes, brand new everything, all made in the USA. No, we have to get ourselves set. We have to reorient. But the Middle East has been a disaster for this country. We've spent trillions and trillions of dollars. We got nothing. And the beauty was we didn't need their oil anymore, but now we're going to need their oil again because we're not going to be energy independent
We're not
for very
now.
long.
We're ready.
I don't believe we are now. And when I left, it was $1.87 a gallon for gas, and now it's $3.50.
It's almost $1.30 more
Yeah.
just since Joe's gotten to be president. Let me ask you a question, because I would argue, and I did argue.
I wonder what happened, dude.
It's okay, Arjan. Just stop reading chat. We are dumb.
It's almost like there was something that happened that, you know, people weren't buying a lot of gas. They weren't really
I'm interrupting the news today
driving
on the way
around.
to tell you I made Tara Masa for the first time ever. It came out super good.
And now
for my
gas
first
prices
time, and
have
I'm
like
super
become
proud of
normal
myself.
again.
Dang hugs in the chat. Tofu.
I can't think of what it was. Probably Joe Biden. It is actually Trump is in a really hard situation here because like
Yo.
the recovery is built in, right? Like reopening the economy, even if you didn't add significant investments, as soon as you reopen the economy, even if you didn't vaccinate people, if you just reopen the economy, a lot of people were going to be happy. They would probably die because of COVID because there were no vaccines, but they would still be happier automatically. Like, so Biden has always had a built-in mechanism where his approval rating was going to be significantly higher than most other presidents, and that's precisely why he's trailing at like 65% for a long time, which is why it's harder for Trump to make arguments against Joe Biden right now. It's kind of hard for Trump to make arguments against Joe Biden because
9 months.
Joe Biden's in a pretty good situation being the president after Donald Trump and also being the president while the American economy reopens. You know what I mean?
Argue on air often that you treated there's a whole other standard for you. If you had sons that lied on a gun permit, threw a gun in a dumpster, smoked crack, got money from Ukraine with no experience, Kazakhstan no experience, Russia with no experience, 100,000.
Dude, you're literally sitting across the podium from a guy who had no experience and became president, and his cabinet was full of people who famously had no experience, including Jared Kushner, who was supposed to facilitate peace in the Middle East. Like, Hunter Biden isn't a part of the Biden administration. Yes, he was a recipient of nepotism, certainly. These people all trade with their family name.
Almost a year
And the
now
Biden
that I've been
administration,
subbed
as I
over
already
where I've been
mentioned,
enjoying this stream. Keep up the good stuff, Hassan.
certainly has a lot of that same kind of nepotism that exists within the administration, but not to the same degree as Donald Trump. How are you going to make a morally consistent argument here?
$1,000 shopping spree and a $1.5 billion deal with the Bank of China with military connections. I have a funny feeling that the media would go after you. It would be unrelenting. Why does Joe Biden get a pass?
The Democrats get a pass. Hillary Clinton got a pass. The Democrats get a pass. You look at a guy like Bill Barr, they said they're going to impeach him. And once they said they're going to impeach him, he became afraid. He became afraid. I said, what's wrong with you? He became scared. They go after people. They go after him so hard and so viciously. And all of a sudden, that's what happens. Not in all cases. We have some people that are incredible. But you have some people, they get brought over to the other side for fear. And we can't have that. We have to fight so strong. Look at me. They go after me with Mueller, with this one, with that one, with impeachment 1, impeachment. I call it the impeachment hoax 1 and 2. And all of this, all nonsense, made up stuff. In fact, they were the ones who were guilty. They come after me. New York radical left prosecutors come after me. You got to always fight. You got to keep fighting. It's a disgusting thing. It's very unfair.
I guess they don't call politics a blood sport for no reason. If you move forward, you know how difficult it is, but you seem ready to re-engage in that battle. And when you
it's not that I want to. The country needs it. We have to take care of this country. I don't want to. Is this fun? Fighting constantly, fighting always. I mean, the country, what we've done is so important. When I say the greatest tax cuts, now they want to raise your taxes. They want to double your taxes, and the Republicans in the Senate and the House, but the Republicans in the Senate have to fight hard that the taxes don't get up, because that'll be terrible for the country.
I've known you for years. I've watched you for years at Trump Tower. I watched you all the years you were in the White House. You sleep maybe 4 hours a night, 4.5, 5 max. You never stop working. Joe Biden averages less than one schedule.
Wow. Boys, this is a brutal interview. Sean Hannity is really asking some tough questions here, man. I wonder how Donald Trump will get out of this one, dude. It's like, how is this? I mean, this is a suck session. He straight up golfed more than any other president. Like, come on, dude. Come on, dude. That is nuts.
10 months just
scheduled event today. Gets up at 9:30. He gets his warm, milky, and sippy cup around 7 p.m. If he's good, he gets a night-night story. Now, in all seriousness, we saw what happened at the G7, where he just was paralyzed. You see what happens, how he struggles to communicate. I asked you, and you kind of punted the last time you were on.
8 months.
Do you see a cognitive decline in Joe Biden, and what does that mean to America?
So let me say it a little bit differently. He is surrounded by vicious people that are very smart, but they don't stand for the values that the people in this room stand for. These are very smart people. I mean, he didn't campaign against me. He didn't debate well. He didn't make good speeches.
He hid in the basement.
I watched him on the State of the Union get up and speak, and it was terrible. It was, I don't want to go into that, but it was terrible. It was a terrible, and I thought he was going to get killed. And I had to watch your competition just to see what they were saying. Now, FDR was a great speaker. You remember some of the speeches he made were incredible. And the only thing you have to fear is fear itself, with that beautiful. Sure. They compared him to FDR. Okay? Now, the good news is they've lost.
You should have been watching Hannity. That was not what was happening.
No, I know. I watched that. Well, that one I could have predicted.
Yeah.
But no, but look, there was nothing good. It was embarrassing. And they were comparing him to FDR. Now, it was so embarrassing to watch that. I couldn't believe it. I was surprised. I watched specifically because I said, he's going to get killed. He didn't get killed. They said, great. And Nancy was sitting behind him with the single biggest mask I've ever seen. That was the largest. It covered her entire face. I've never seen anything like it. No, I've never seen anything like it.
I've got to wrap
And she didn't rip up his speech either.
Like she did with you, Rip.
I got to wrap things up, dude. He's like, he still wants to keep going. I love this man.
President, thank you
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.